let me begin with the simple truth. Debt is not an enemy. Every government borrows. The question is not whether we borrow, it is what we borrow for, who we borrow from, and who pays the price. So today I want to talk about 5 things every citizen needs to understand about public debt. These are not technical matters for economists alone. They are governance issues that affect every family, every business, and every child in any country now. So the 5 aspects of it will be: what is the basis for borrowing? Number 1. Number 2, the budget process. Number 3, what is a supplementary budget? Number 4, and this is controversial, what is the debt ceiling? And then just to crown it all, I'll want to talk about the citizen rights, which is now the most powerful check on government excess. So number 1, on what is the basis of public finance and borrowing. Governments naturally borrow to finance the gap between what they collect and what they spend. This gap is what we call the fiscal deficit. So you end up noticing that persistent deficits means a growing debt. And I think that is much straightforward, but this is where it gets interesting. African governments are borrowing, but they're also innovating. This is to mean that they are moving away from traditional loans towards an aspect of securitization, which means they are raising funds against future government collections like taxes, levies, minerals, and any other form of revenue you could think about at the moment. So the Treasury on one part is going to tell you that this is not a loan, but World Bank on the other side says this is a debt. So the big question that usually accrues is who is right? For an enlightened citizen, the answer is clear. If you are spending tomorrow's revenue today, it does not matter what you call it. It is a mortgage on our future. So the fundamental question under this that the citizens then need to ask is, are we investing in productive assets that will grow our economy, or are we just consuming what's in the future? Number 2 aspect would be the budget making process. Lizzie, the budget is supposed to be a social contract between the government and its people. That's number 1. Number 2, it reflects the national priorities. But in practice, you'll notice that based on the representative nature of our governments, you vote for one person, then they go represent you. Citizens are usually locked out of this conversation. And therefore, when government is doing this budget making process, you just end up noticing that budget consultations become a checkbox exercise. Don't really go step to step to say why you want this and why it needs to be taken into consideration. So that you'll notice today, in many of our countries, governments are spending more on net interest payments than on health and education. And we need to let that sink in. More of our tax money flows out of the country to foreign creditors, that it flows into our local hospital for the children, aspects of education, health, and everything else that comes in between. So when citizens do not understand the budget, they cannot challenge this reality. They cannot ask important questions like, for example, why are we paying interest instead of building a classroom? So that the landscape of what an enlightenment would be is for the average citizen to be able to look past the headlines. It means to demand the full budget line by line and asking the uncomfortable questions. Then now will give you context on why this budget process is